Hi, I'm Connie Cologne, the author and illustrator of Principal Kids School Rules, book number 1. It's a fun new kids series about Oliver Kidd, who's a genius, and he becomes principal of his grade school, Eggshell Elementary. And he decides to implement new rules for the school, and of course they're fun and the kids love them, but Vice Principal Dagger, who's very mean and he wants Oliver's job, decides to sabotage him. So he calls the health inspector. And I'm going to read you chapter 8 of the book so you can find out what happens when the health inspector comes. Waiting in his office, Oliver found Mr. Dagger with a strange little balding man wearing white gloves and holding a clipboard. The man was wiping one of the bookcases with a handkerchief. Oddly, the room had taken on the scent of lemon furniture polish. Several complaints were lodged, said Mr. Dagger, so the health inspector needs to look around. I'm Inspector Dusty, said the man, holding out his gloved hand to shake Oliver's. He spoke with a lisp and spit whenever he said any S's. He used his handkerchief to wipe up, leaving everything with a spit shine. I'm afraid I have bad news, son, very bad news. Spit wipe. Oliver narrowly dodged Inspector Dusty's spit spray. He scooted to the other side of his desk to distance himself before more S's were spoken. I've spotted several safety code violations, sprayed the inspector. He wiped the desk clean, then tore a sheet from his clipboard. He slapped a violation down on the desk. And there's Inspector Dusty with his clipboard. Chickens on premises, said Inspector Dusty. A shaking and cowering Chelsea hid herself behind Oliver. Students running in the hallways, said the inspector. Wipe, tear, slap. Raw eggs everywhere. Wipe, tear, slap. And potentially dangerous bubblegum. Just when Inspector Dusty wiped his spittle, tore the last violation off his pad, and slapped it down on the pile, Oliver had blown a gigantic bubble with his own gum. Oliver's eyes grew wide. He quickly ducked under his desk, and Chelsea popped it with her beak. She then neatly deposited the wad in the garbage can. You have 24 hours to fix it all, said the inspector, or I shut this school down. And there's Oliver getting his failed inspection notice. Needing to walk off his stress, a grown-up trait Oliver learned from his grandfather, he began pacing. He felt like the walls were closing in on him, and it was hard to take deep breaths. The minute the principal's chair was vacant, Mr. Dagger slunk into it and put his feet up on the desk. Oliver finally spoke, pacing even faster now. This won't look at all suitable on my resume if the school closes 2 days after I've become principal. Face it, kid, said Mr. Dagger. You're in over your head. You need my help. Oliver stopped and faced the vice principal. What do you have in mind? I'll take care of all these problems, said Mr. Dagger. All you have to do is... What? Yelped Oliver. I'm ready to do anything. Mr. Dagger stood and looked down at Oliver. Resign tomorrow and announce to the entire school that I will take your place as principal. So now you have to read the rest of the book to find out what happens. Happy reading.